Nerd Guy 101 here, and today I'm going to be telling you about Paleolithic and Neolithic Mesopotamia. First, we have hunting and farming for the Paleolithic era. Now, during this time, people were hunter-gatherers. They scavenged for food, such as nuts and berries, and people also began to discover farming. Up next, we have the same thing, but for the Neolithic era. And during this time, the people would use strategy, such as forcing an animal off of a cliff to kill it, and the concept of raising, farming, and herding animals also emerged. The housing and shelter for the Paleolithic era is quite interesting. The people of this era were nomads. They did not have any permanent settlement. They simply wandered, and Paleolithic people would often make shelters from caves or resources around them, such as mammoth bones. Housing and shelter for the Neolithic era was also cool. Now, these people built permanent shelters, and the concept of being a nomad ended. Shelters were typically composed of mud bricks that were supported by timber. Straw was also included. Mesopotamia was a very progressive area. People created a language for tools and inventions of the Paleolithic era. Fire was discovered as well, and basic tools were constructed. They were usually sharpened sticks or hand axes, and they were constructed usually from stone or wood. People also created a language, and wheels were invented in the late Paleolithic era. As for the Neolithic tools and inventions, they had polished stone tools, and they were made sharp, usually by grinding into something. Bows and arrows and harpoons were invented, and basic construction techniques began. The standard for clothing during the Paleolithic time was simply animal fur. Now, people would kill an animal to get meat or to obtain clothing. People in the Neolithic era still wore animal fur, but they also used woven garments and clothing made of woolen cloths. Art and communication for the Paleolithic era was cool. Now, to communicate in this era, people had to be close as there were no phones. For art, people usually painted petroglyphs on cave walls, depicting stories such as hunts. For art and communication for the Neolithic era, the people made pottery and carved objects out of wood. Early mythology also originated. Now, Paleolithic people were a tribal society. They lived in clans. They were typically controlled by the old, wise, or powerful, and there were no government structures. In Neolithic times, the concept of monarchy finally emerged, and religious or military leaders had great power. The king, however, was thought to be chosen by the gods. Now, as for the economy of the Paleolithic era, money as we know it today simply did not exist. People bartered for salt, weapons, and animals. Nothing had any intrinsic value, as it does today. Private property and ownership also did not exist. In Neolithic times, private property and ownership were invented, and people were using less and less commodity money and started to use non-intrinsic value items for money. So, the changes from the Paleolithic to the Neolithic eras forever changed how humans lived. New things emerged, such as fire, money, religion, agriculture, and more. And if not for these great discoveries, the world would be a very different place. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and thank you for watching.